Bhargavi, can you nominate someone from the group to introduce?
Yeah, so I was wondering, I think I should call someone who I don't know. So I would like to call, and some people have numbers. You should rename yourself. There is one 357-629 I see, and so I would like to invite the person at 357-629 with a big smile to introduce herself. You have to unmute yourself. Can't hear. Rwanda. No?
Hello. Hi from Rwanda.
I think she's having trouble in unmuting herself.
Unmuting. Okay, so I now request Olinga Emmanuel to come online and introduce. Also having the video, Olinga, also having the video on is useful for a bit.
No, Bhargavi.
Okay, then I go with Kamla.
Thank you, Bhargavi. My name is Kamla Paudel. I'm from Nepal. I work at Koshish, which is working for the promotion of rights and well-being of people in Nepal with mental health issues. And I myself was on streets in Kathmandu about 6-7 years ago, and I was rescued by Koshish from the streets of Kathmandu. And I am very grateful to Bhargavi because she is a source of inspiration for people like me. I have met Bhargavi many times, and every time I meet her, virtually or personally, I carry back a lot of enthusiasm, and she's so accessible. So I am grateful to Bhargavi. And I will nominate maybe Kinjang.
Kinzang. Kinzang, unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Chinta from Sri Lanka. I'm also a consumer or a person with psychosocial disability. And at the moment, I'm working as a independent consultant on disability inclusion and alternative communications with government and non-government organizations, designing projects and also doing some evaluations, especially on virtual training rural women on enumeration and stuff. I have designed recently a project to do a big research on finding out what exactly the issues in disability, because there were a lot of, since 1970s, Sri Lanka was doing a lot of work with disability, but still we have problems. So it will be led by the organizations of persons with disabilities, including organizations of persons with psychosocial disabilities. It will be starting in September. Thank you.
Thank you, Chinta. Kinzang, yes, can you speak now? Kinzang?
Okay, sir. Hello everyone. My name is Kiran Jamso. I'm from country Bhutan. I am working at Disabled People Organization. Right now I am in the office. Now I want to talk briefly about our organization. Our organization is looking for overall the person with overall for person with disabilities, and in Bhutan in Bhutan we have 5 CSO, and we have a 5 CSO working for person with disabilities, and one I will list one by one name, and one is Doctor Vocational Training Center for Special Youth and Children. It's mainly for vocational for children with youth with disabilities. One is for child with disabilities. The name is Ability Bhutan Society. Ability Bhutan Society, and it's for mainly for children with disability, autism, and the one is for parents supporting for children with disability, and ours is for overall the disabled, looking for overall the disabilities in Bhutan. Name is Disabled People Organization of Bhutan, established in year 2010. That much from me.
Thank you, Kenzan, for the introduction, and we'll definitely give all our members to speak today with each other during the Q&A session. Would you like to nominate someone, or should I do it by myself? I think I'll nominate by myself. I'll nominate Sudarshan Subedi from Nepal. Sudarshan, can you introduce yourself with your name, your country, your organization?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank you so much giving this opportunity, TCI, Bhargavi, all the colleagues of the TCI. My name is Sudarshan Subedi. I'm from Nepal. For a long time, I worked across disability sectors in national and international, basically rights of person with disability. And last 8 years, I worked National Federation of the Disabled Nepal, and during my tenure, I contribute a lot of for the psychosocial disability issue to recognize in the Nepalese law, policy, and definitions. Currently, I'm working Ability Month Private Limited. This is my consulting company for my work, but another new youth organization, Disability Human Rights Promotion Society. This organization basically working for the rights of person with disability, including psychosocial disability, basically access to justice sector. And I'm contributing these organizations to promote these organizations' capacity. And I'm representing from the DHR Nepal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sudarshan. Would you like to nominate someone?
Sir, I will one thing to tell. My friend is also trying to join, but he is little bit in net problem. That's why he's trying now.
Yes, I have received the request. I have also entered him in the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. So I'll nominate Isabella now. Isabella, you're on mute. You're on. Isabella, can you unmute your mic?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Isabella from Uganda, East Africa. I am currently a board member with a disability, a DPO, disability organization in Uganda called My Story Initiative. And I support the organization with legal and advocacy work. We mainly work in the community, and we work with a group of persons with lived experience. At the same time, I'm a carer. I've been a carer for over 30 years for my younger brother who has struggles with bipolar. At the same time, I'm also doing some work on disability rights for people in East Africa. And this is part of my work with which I will be sharing as a fellow with Columbia University from September to January next year. I am very excited and looking forward to learning from every single person here in this network. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Isabella. You're most welcome. And we warmly welcome you to the TCI network. And we look forward to have a lot of exchange between us in the future. I'll now request Jean, could you please introduce yourself? Jean Claude. Okay, I think he's having some trouble in unmuting. Stella, can you introduce yourself? Stella? Stella Olinga. Yonten from Bhutan.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Yenten from Bhutan. Actually, regarding my organization, I think everything is introduced by my friend Kunzang Jamso. Actually, we two are working under a DPO in Bhutan, Disabled People's Organization, of course. And first of all, I would like to thank you for bringing me in this platform. And I would like to know and learn more from our colleagues out here. And finally, I would like to thank organizer.
Thank you, Yonten. And we'll definitely share more about what opportunities TCI is providing and how TCI operates. So I would like to ask Bijal Lal, can you introduce yourself? Hello, Bijal. Anita, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you very much, Wakar. Assalamualaikum, a very good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anita from Malaysia. I represent the Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association. So we are a mental health advocacy and peer support group in Malaysia. Very happy to see the new faces from the various countries that I can only dream of visiting at this current moment. So hopefully the pandemic situation improves and we can all do country visits, hopefully, Bhargavi, and look forward to learning from each other. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you. I'll now ask Yeni. Yeni, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Yeni Rosa Damayanti. I'm from Indonesia. I'm chairperson of Indonesian Mental Health Association. Oh, I'm very excited that there are people from Africa and Bhutan. Africa is a place that I haven't been to and really love to visit, as well as Bhutan. I heard that Bhutan is one of very beautiful country. Hopefully I can see you sometime. Welcome to TCI Asia. Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm one of the steering committee of TCI Asia, and I've been joining TCI Asia, I think since, I forget, 2014 something. Thank you.
Thank you, Yeni. Thank you. Bijal, are you able to now unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Bijal. I'm from Tanzania, East Africa. I work with students with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and I'm looking forward to get more resources. I'm not sure if my voice is
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
awesome. I didn't know what else did we have to share for the introduction because I kept logging in and out.
No problem. No problem. Thank you, everyone, for your introductions. I think everybody has introduced him or herself. So we'll now move on, and I'll now request Bhargavi to share what is TCI, how it came into, how it was established, and how it is facilitating DPOs, what opportunities we are providing. So Bhargavi, over to you for the introduction about TCI, and yeah.
Thank you so much, Wakkar. There seems to be an echo, right? Can you hear an echo?
Yes. No. It's all good.
It's good. Yeah. Okay. So I attended the international training program on the Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities way back in 2010. At that time, the concept of psychosocial disability was not known at all in most parts of Asia Pacific. We started, in fact, I was not even linked with the cross disability movement at that time, even though I was working in India since 1994, 1995 onwards on human rights of persons. At that time, we used to say living with a mental illness. Later on, the language changed. I was involved in some international movements on human rights for persons who were users and survivors of psychiatry. So that was the other concept known to us. We were quite involved from India on the ad hoc committee meetings towards the drafting of the Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. At that time, you had the International Disability Caucus, what later on became the International Disability Alliance. So after the CRPD was adopted by different countries worldwide, IDA offered trainings on the CRPD. So I was among the early trainees of their CRPD Asia initiative. And I did meet people from, for example, Matrika is one of my earliest contacts from the Asia region. I met some Chinese people, then one or two people from Bangladesh. So there were very few of us who were talking about human rights for persons with mental health issues and psychosocial disabilities. So with a lot of support from the organization I was working with, that is the Bapu Trust, as well as the International Disability Alliance, we thought it is very strategic to go and meet other people in other countries to see what is going on with respect to people with psychosocial disabilities. This was a new concept at that time. Very much we were trapped by the medical model. So even for us who were the early travelers in Asia Pacific region, it was difficult to speak the CRPD language. and to make a transition. So I met Matrika, I met Janice Cambry from Indonesia, from the Philippines. That was my first visit there. I also met Yeni Rosa. So in this way, we grew the movement in Asia Pacific region. Lots of interesting people started to respond to us and to say, who are you? So we had to find a name. In 2013, we had a meeting in Pune, India, and we called ourselves the Strategy Group for Persons with Psychosocial Disabilities. In 2014, we had a membership of about 13, 14 countries. And we called ourselves in Bangkok in November of 2014. We said we are TCI Asia. And by then we had good representation from Thailand, met Kim from Thailand. There were some people from Hong Kong who are still very active, and so on. In 2016, we made a really big splash with an international meeting here in Pune. It brought together various users and survivors of psychiatry, as well as service providers, to think outside of psychiatry and the medical model. So this was the Inter India 2016. In this meeting, there were a number of countries represented. We had 42 countries represented and 150 people participated. And it was a big splash. I think some CRPD committee members attended the conference. So it was a highly successful meeting, again supported by the Bapu Trust and IDA. Then in 2018, we had the Bali meeting. So by this time, one or two very standard ways in which TCI works were established. One is we enjoy face-to-face meetings, not just virtual meetings. So it is not a virtual network until Corona came. We used to physically go to country missions, meet stakeholders, meet people in governance, offer technical consultancy to governance, all of that. So we were quite active, traveling, meeting groups, meeting people, talking about forming a DPO. So some of us have traveled. Wakar hasn't, but Yeni Rosa has traveled. Then Kim put together a meeting in Thailand. Anita put together a meeting in Malaysia. So in this way, we have traveled to many countries, physically meeting people and giving the message of TCI. By 2018, we had like 24 countries, something like that. And we met in Bali with local partner, Indonesian Mental Health Association, and supported by several organizations, DFAT, CBM, all of them. And we made what is called the Bali Declaration. Bali Declaration is our manifesto of human rights. It shows clearly what is the way to move from a medical model to a social model of inclusion. So we moved from mental health activism to inclusion activism. So we identify ourselves as the inclusion movement. Our key strategy so far has been dialogue with multiple stakeholders, build strong solidarity with the cross-disability movement, empower groups at the national level, build opportunities for all our members, national level country members, and as far as possible, visit countries and have live exchange with people. And finally, we really enjoy the plenaries. It brings multiple country groups together. However, with Corona times, it has been long due for another General Assembly, like the one we did in Bali, but looking more and more impossible with the Corona situation. We started doing sub-regional meetings. Unfortunately, we did two South Asia sub-regional meetings. Others have not happened so far. Hopefully, we will be able to do the Southeast Asia one as well as the Pacific one in the coming months. We're really happy, in 2006, the Bali Declaration, during the Bali Declaration, we also took a vote on whether we can be TCI Asia Pacific, because in Bali we had a substantial contingent of people coming from the Pacific Island countries. So in 2018, we became TCI Asia Pacific. In December of 2020, we realized that we are very, very active within influencing the United Nations system. We have contributed to several documents that the United Nations has brought out. Example, the mental health resolutions, the special rapporteurs reports, so on and so forth. And we continue to hold a key position. We are probably the largest membership-based organization of persons with psychosocial disabilities. And so in 2020, with the agreement by all the steering committee members, we are now TCI Global. We're getting huge response from Africa, also from the MENA regions. And so it is in these regions that we will be focusing in the coming years. Of course, Asia Pacific is always a favorite spot for us. We have also grown in the Asia Pacific region in building our networks, yeah, so this is what I want to say. For us, inclusion goes beyond mental health treatment. Inclusion is about employment, about housing, about social protection, about social networks, friendship networks, support systems, all of that. So, and I think there are other speakers lined up, and they will definitely share the different kind of opportunities that TCI offers to our national members. Thank you so much, Waqar, and thank you all.
Thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you so much for such a brief introduction of TCI from the start and till now where we are standing. So I'm so sorry. So I'll not take much of your time, and I'll now move towards like what opportunities TCI is providing to its members from different countries. And we have a couple of speakers who will share their experiences that how TCI has built their capacity at the national level, what advocacy initiatives they have been taking, how TCI is a platform to support persons with psychosocial disabilities at the national level. So first of all, I'd like to invite August. August is our fellow, and August, I think I forgot to take your name for for introducing yourself also. I'm so sorry. So August, it's all over. It's all the floor is yours now. Introduce yourself and please share about the fellowship opportunity of TCI and how it is, helpful and supportive at the national level. Thank you.
Thank you, Waqar, for the time. First of all, I would like to thank to Bhargavi, Waqar, and TCI team, and I would like to say congratulations to TCI as now as being a global organization. My name is Gus Hidayat, and I'm from Indonesia. I live in Jakarta, not like in center of Jakarta, but in like a little bit outside of Jakarta. So I am a disability rights activist focusing on the rights of young person with psychosocial disability and intellectual disabilities. And I would like to welcome all of you who joining us today in this very important event. And I feel so honored to be here to speak about the fellowship program that TCI offer. It is actually very hard for me to speak about the amazing experience that I got last year, and to wrap up in 5 minutes. So I will share my personal experience with the TCI fellowship program. TCI fellowship gave me an amazing opportunity for a person with psychosocial disability like me to do what I wanted to do. My experience with TCI fellowship had been amazing and astonishing. With the support from TCI fellowship program, I could do a support group that I really passionate about, as I like to meet new people, to listen their experience and get connected. And of course, the mutual relationship with my peers, and also to gather like sort of like all the problem that they face, especially problem young person with psychosocial disability face to do some sort of like advocacy. So it had been a very wonderful experience for me in joining TCI Global. So I still remember when the first time I applied for the fellowship program. I got the information from my friend, we are Yeni, and then I still remember exactly when I was writing, sitting down writing about the concept that I had to send at the time, and then my intention at the time was actually only introduce myself, not to get the fellowship program. So I felt so when I got the fellowship program, I still remember when Yeni in the middle of the night text me and to check my email and everything, and I was so happy that I couldn't sleep at the time, and because I was so excited and I felt so appreciated and felt so I don't know what to say, like I was so happy, and I'm so really glad with the support and advice from from Bargavi, from Yeni as my mother in advocacy, and all of the TCI team, and in TCI family as a young person with psychosocial disability. I don't really feel that I am excluded as young person with psychosocial disabilities. As a young person with psychosocial disability, rarely have the opportunity to participate equally in the society, and we are mostly excluded from any policy discourses. So the fellowship program somehow psychologically makes me braver, empowered, and makes me feel stronger to speak about our rights, especially the rights of young person with psychosocial disability, because homelessness and street and institutionalization is a real threat for young person with psychosocial disability in Indonesia if we don't have enough support. So I would like to thank once again for the trust and for the support that TCI Global gave to me, and the TCI fellowship program not just provide me with the support, but the opportunity to get to know more people from across the globe, to learn more about a lot of issues from many countries, like Kim from Thailand, and many people that I couldn't not mention one by one from the events that I attend, from like webinar and everything, and a lot of information regarding psychosocial disability issue in many topics such as COVID response, the institutionalization, the right to education, and independent living, of course, that I got from TCI webinar. And of course, I look forward to learn from all of you, and of course, to meet you in person after the pandemic. And I feel the experience that I got from TCI is probably the best experience that I have in my life. So it's yeah, it's the greatest experience that I have in my life, because it's just not provide support to do regarding the program that I run, but also to get many opportunities, such as to learn about the social protection, short course social protection from university in Germany, and from the fellowship support, I could develop my new organization of person with disability, which is a great things. And I get a lot of networks as well, including the involvement in IDA as a youth committee, and I get to visit some social care institution in some cities, and we are trying, me and my friends, trying to write an alternative CDAO report specific for women with psychosocial disability. I hope everything it's good. So TCI fellowship encouraged me as a young person with psychosocial disability to be braver, to speak up for our rights, to do what I want to do, to advocate what I believe it's right. And somehow this is so empowering. And thank you so much for the amazing opportunity. And I hope there are many more opportunities for fellowship program for young person with psychosocial disability like me from across the globe, to be able to do what they want to do, as we are young people, is not only for the future, but I'm sure that TCI is inviting us to build the future from now. So I would like to encourage all of you who is watching, because this is being recorded, to apply for the fellowship program. And of course, lastly, as part of TCI family, I would like to welcome you all, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Back to you, Wakar. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Agus, for this, for sharing your experience and for sharing with us that how you the opportunity of fellowship has supported you at the national level, and more likely to support and build capacity of young persons with psychosocial disabilities in Indonesia, and become an advocate for the and the leader of persons with psychosocial disabilities who are young in Indonesia. So I'll just, what you said was perfectly okay and perfectly fine. I just wanted to add into this that TCI is providing this opportunity at the national level to persons with psychosocial disabilities and its members to establish their own organizations. And this is what has been done by August in Indonesia. And I really congratulate him that he has been successful in registering his organization of persons with psychosocial disabilities to address the issues of young persons who are living with mental health problems and psychosocial disabilities. And so this is where TCI plays its role by supporting with fellowships to the leaders to form their own organizations and become change makers and advocate for the rights at different levels, for education, for elections, for you can say social protection, and different thematics like gender inclusion. And August, I congratulate you once again for your role with TCI. And we have another program of micro grants, which is in which TCI offers a small grant to its members for doing advocacy work or a small project work in their own countries. And with respect to that, our colleague Khalil She has been working with TCI for last year in the 2020 cycle, and she was taking care of it. Unfortunately, she was not available today, and I'll play a video message which was shared by her to share with you all that what is the micro grant opportunity and how it supports persons with psychosocial disabilities or organizations of persons with psychosocial disabilities at the national level, and what TCI did into 2020 cycle with respect to the COVID response. So I'll play the video message, and if you cannot hear the sound, please do let me know.
I am not here.
I'm
I'm not able
hearing
to
the,
hear.
yeah.
Hi, can you hear the sound?
We couldn't.
No.
We couldn't hear the sound.
Yeah, no sound, Wakar.
It's not playing right now, Wakar.
Yes, I have just paused it so that I can see why it's not.
I gather that somebody told me that there is an advanced sharing option of sharing sound as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
audio. You've got to check the audio box.
Yes, I already did that. Okay, let's give it a try once again.
No, there's no sound, Wakar.
No sound.
Yeah. Maybe you want to stop sharing and reshare again.
A part of the range of initiatives led by TCI. And I'm going to share my screen now to let you see a small presentation that I prepared. And here, okay, let me go full screen mode. Okay, so here you can see the logos of the organizations that are leading and supporting this. So we have TCI as the managing organization, financially supported by the International Disability Alliance. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with them. And of course, Bapu Trust for Research on Mind and Disclosure as an organization providing management and administrative support for this program. But aside from them, this program is also supported by other organizations like the Open Society Foundation, Wellspring Advisors, and DFAT Australia. And this was initiated last year during the initial months of the pandemic when different levels of lockdowns and community quarantines were imposed in most of the countries globally. And we all know that of course everyone has been impacted significantly by these restrictions, but greater for persons with psychosocial disability. And we have noticed that we're not really included and visible in the government's programs and responses. So that's a huge gap that TCI wanted to address. So the microgrants program were originally intended to to address the mobility issues of persons with psychosocial disability, and also strengthen and promote peer support system in the communities, and also strengthen the capacity of organizations to promote and continue the advocacy work, not only short-term advocacy, but also looking forward and continuing to longer-term advocacy targets. Yeah, so these micro grants were also intended to be implemented at the national level with national scope. So we had selected 6 partners in 6 countries. So we have one in Fiji. We have a partner there called the Psychiatric Survivors Association. And then in Indonesia, we have the Indonesian Mental Health Association. In Nepal, we have Koshish National Mental Health Self-Help Organization. In Thailand, we have Living Association. In Malaysia, we have MIASA, or Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association. And in Pakistan, we have the Special Talent Exchange Program, but they're really a host organization for a national network called the Psychosocial Disability Rights Network, or PDRN. So these partners have varying capacities and levels of influence, and their establishment, year of establishment, and years of working in their own respective countries also vary. But we have recognized that they really play a crucial role in promoting the rights of persons with psychosocial disability, especially given the situation, the reality at the moment that we don't really have a lot of organizations working on the needs and rights of our community. So the programs differ, but seen as a whole, they're really all promoting rights-based approaches and also holistic interventions to support the, like the other organizations like TCI, really promote the autonomy of persons with psychosocial disability. So there are initiatives focusing on well-being, wellness, on employment, promoting employment, strengthening networks and local organizations, awareness-raising initiatives, capacity building, working with governments, and many, many more. So it's really it's really a blessing. We're grateful in TCI that we get to work with these partners who are also, been long-term partners already of TCI. We have continuing work with them. So they received an average of $5,000 US for their projects, ranging from 6 to 8 months. So like I said, these are really short-term projects, but also laying the foundations for longer-term advocacy work. And I want to share with you some key results and accomplishments that we have seen from the different projects that I just mentioned in the 6 countries. And there are 7 areas that we have seen. And the first one is on increased food security and access to income generation activities. We specifically saw this, for example, in Thailand, in the initiatives of Living Association, and also in Fiji, led by PSA. So they have initiatives on farming, organic farming, and really supporting their members in terms of providing farming kits and capacity development on how to sustain this, and perhaps in the future generate more income from these activities. But during the initial months of their projects, they were really addressing food security, which is more immediate for persons with psychosocial disability. And there were a lot of challenges experienced there because the members didn't really have prior experience in doing initiatives like this, but they somehow engaged, other experts who could help them, and the results of their projects were really amazing. And while they were promoting or addressing food security, they also noticed that through these gatherings, they planned together, they farmed together. It was also a space for strengthening their support to each other, peer support. So we're already seeing, cross-cutting themes there. And the next result area that we have seen is on improved nutrition, hygiene, and sanitation conditions through the distribution of relief goods. So these relief goods consist of food and non-food items. So for non-food items, of course, these are hygiene and sanitation kits. And again, this is in response to the gap observed in some countries that persons with psychosocial disabilities are not receiving any immediate support from the government. So STEP in Pakistan, for example, and Koshish in Nepal did such initiatives. And of course, we have heard positive feedback from the members that it has really helped, address some of their needs. And for Kashish in Nepal, it also coincided with the local festival where they really celebrate and prepare, food and share it among each other. And it was a good timing for them to distribute these goods, because it also helped the members feel that they have something to share. So yeah. And then another result is the strengthened capacity of OPDs to respond to the needs of people with psychosocial disability. So there were also different initiatives done here, like in Living Association, they have set up centers, like training centers to support farming. And this center is going to continue to provide support to increase employment opportunities for their members. And in Malaysia, through MIAZA, they formed a crisis team composed of volunteers who are providing peer support and trauma-informed care to not only to their members, but also other individuals who are really coming forward and getting in touch with them to ask for support. And yeah, so these trainings were provided, and they also have set up a clubhouse that can be used for implementing initiatives together. And some of the activities that they do are focused on arts, crafts, and music, healing, and etc. And then in Pakistan, I mentioned earlier that STEP supported and is continuing to support PDRN, the national network there. And some of the support that they provided is on setting up different social media platforms where they can leverage their awareness raising initiatives and advocacy work. And so, yeah, we can notice that there are different levels of support provided to members and member organizations in terms of capacity strengthening. And yeah, then result 4, of course, we have observed strengthened peer support system. So I already mentioned a little bit of this in the beginning related to addressing food security. But other than that, there were organizations that really focused and implemented targeted activities for peer support. In Fiji, for example, in PSA, they organized a series of listening circles for their members, where they share their struggles during the pandemic, what things are motivating them, how they can support each other as well, and share different experiences basically, and also good practices in terms of maintaining hygiene, how to deal with family members and stressors. So a lot of different topics involved. Similarly, in Nepal, in Koshish, they also did something like this, virtual meetings, similar to the listening circles, and also one-on-one conversations with their members through phone calls. And of course, there are different situations in terms of mobility restrictions. But towards the end of their projects, of course, it was common that most of them shifted to online forms of these gatherings. But we also noted that it's not really limited. Peer support system is not really limited to just talking about, each other's struggles, but also being there to support when members are experiencing challenges in their own families, and in the community in general. And I would like to share more about this later. So really, interventions within the family, and when they come into contact with law enforcers. So the organizations were also there to support. And we see this as something bigger, like community support, really. And of course, that's something that we want to continue to promote. Another result is the improved data collection and research on the situation of people with psychosocial disability. This is not really intensive, but in Indonesia, through MEASA, they're working with social care institutions, and they observed from the very beginning that the government was not collecting information about the situation of the residents in those institutions. And they're not also providing services there, and they are highly exposed to COVID. The risk is just high, but there are not even information about them. So IMHA visited several institutions and counted the numbers of members who might have been affected by COVID, because they were also not doing testing in those institutions. So they also interviewed residents in terms of their needs. And of course, IMHA compiled all these information and used them to support their advocacy initiatives that came afterwards. And another result area is the increased awareness among various stakeholders and the general public. So this is something done by almost all organizations in many different ways, but a lot of them engaged with community members and the general public through consultations, through webinars, trainings, etc. And not only ones that were initiated directly by them, but also when they get invited in other webinars organized by other organizations, they took those opportunities to really discuss and surface the issues of persons with psychosocial disabilities. So there were a lot of opportunities grabbed there. And the last result area was on improved accountability of duty bearers to respect, protect, and fulfill the rights of persons with psychosocial disability. So this was strongly shown in Indonesia. And also we've seen some efforts in Thailand, where they engaged with the Senate to share their position paper and demands for the government to support and address the needs of persons with psychosocial disability. And in IMHA, they had several lobbying efforts and meetings with different ministries of the government, not only to push the inclusion in terms of testing, but also in getting prioritized in the vaccination program that came later on. And as I've mentioned earlier, they were also pressuring the government to really gather information, collect information about persons with psychosocial disability. And there were
So I would like to, stop here and because it's a too long message, and so we asked our colleague to share the opportunity, like what were the results of TCI's micro grant opportunity in the first cycle. And following that cycle, I'm happy to share with you all that we have recently announced the second cycle, and hopefully you have also received the those who are on the CRPD forum platform, CRPD forum groups, you have received the opportunity call in your emails. So the basic concept of this TCI micro grant is to, empower the organizations to build their capacity to so that, they can advocate, and they can they have the opportunity of like other DPOs and like other organizations, they also have the opportunity to work with the government, to work with the cross disability organizations, to work with the civil society organization, UN agencies. So this was the basic idea behind this COVID grant, and we are offering this grant every year, like $5,000 each organization to advocate for the rights of persons with psychosocial disabilities at the national level, and support the organization, which is also supported by TCI. Anita, if you are here, can you share some of your experience from this grant cycle, from the micro cycle 1?
Yeah, sure.
I'll just keep short and crisp. Like, how was your experience? How was your experience in terms of the development of the organization, and how it supported your organization, your colleagues?
All right. Thank you very much, Wakar. So what we did via the micro grant opportunity was we trained our crisis team members on crisis management and trauma-informed care. And that was how we were able to finally execute the whole initiative, because it's pretty hard here in Malaysia, especially because we're not financially independent, and we have tried doing it for a while, but we really wanted them to be trained in that area. And so via the micro grants, we were able to do that. And right now, because of that initiative, Waka, Bhargavi, and everyone, we are now able to expand the team, because one of the organizations from the private sector has seen how much it has helped, especially during this pandemic hit, that they are now sponsoring us, providing us funding for us to be able to do it 24/7 now, because currently we are running it 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. But now we are able to expand it nationwide with a bigger team, all of them being trained, which they gave us a big amount of money. So we just had to pilot it, to be honest, everyone. That's always the case, I guess, for groups like us. And then the other thing as well is we have an activity center and also crisis management center. Via the micro grants, we were able to complete the activity center. So very, very happy now that our friends can actually come, walk in, join the activities, 6 days a week. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Wakar.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and about the grant and how it has supported you and your organization at the national level. And I will also share my experience of this grant in the next in the next panel, which is with Yeni. And but before that, it is important that one of our another colleague from Thailand, Kim, she has also shared her message, and I would like to share that with you. But trust me, it's not that long. Uh, the, uh, the one which was from Khalil. So I'll share a message from Thailand also with you all. Just give me a moment. And once again, if you are not able to hear the sound, please let me know.
Greetings from Bangkok, dear distinguished members of TCI. Transforming Community for Inclusion has long been working hard to make national movements strong and thriving at the grassroots level. One of the tools and process used is country mission. Thailand has had many opportunities to be the venue of TCI meetings, plenary meetings, steering committee meetings. Those were the time for capacity buildings and empowerment for Thai psychosocial activists. But one particular time that was a country mission in TCI style was when Thai Family Link Association and the network organized the International Recovery Alliance Conference on the 4th and the 5th of September 2017. Bhargavi braved the flood in Mumbai and detoured by plane for several hours before getting to Bangkok and spoke at the workshop on inclusion. And after the conference, she met with high-profile officials of the Department of Mental Health. There are encounters when she met with the senator who are from Cross Disability, Dr. Montien Bhutan, who was then one of the CRPD committee member. And she also met Kun Sawarak, who is now the CRPD committee member, both of which are happy to support the cause of TCI in Asia, in Thailand, and all over the world. The connection continues strongly until now. TCI also empower emerging leaders through fellowships and support the national movement through micro grants. But most of all, I think TCI has strengthened the national movement through relevant trainings and capacity building. We would like to congratulate TCI and all her members that TCI would now be the catalyst for worldwide national psychosocial movements. Thank you very much.
So this is another thing which TCI is doing at the national level in countries. TCI has conducted number of country missions and has met the national leaders, members of the national organizations, cross disability organizations, and other civil society organizations who are working at the national level on disability inclusion. So I will now request Bhargavi Dawar to take the floor and share more about the TCI country missions and what is the purpose of organizing these missions and how we have been successful in organizing these meetings and what were the results of these meetings.
Thank you so much, Vakar. It's been delightful to hear from so many members today about how TCI has been useful. I definitely remember Alex quote from Ida, who set us off on this journey many years ago. Many of you will know him also. And really so grateful that we started this initiative several years ago. So Country Mission, in fact, was the first instrument that we started. Why did we start this instrument? Because many people with psychosocial disabilities feel alone at the national level or at their provincial level. They don't have any support whatsoever. They don't have a place from where they can learn what the movement could be for their country. They don't have a vision for people with psychosocial disabilities within their country. Usually there are one or two people who may be active or who may have a lot of experiences facing human rights violations, but they don't know where to go. In fact, that is how I started traveling, because in India, Bapu Trust was the first organization which was led by a person with a psychosocial disability. At that time, we used to call ourselves users and survivors. So we are one of the oldest DPOs for the South Asia region. There are some organizations in Hong Kong which are probably as old as us, but we all feel so isolated. If you look at the West, there are a number of movements, human rights movements, and they're really struggling with what to do with their institutions, which are way more violent and way more, coercive than what we find in our regions. In our regions, you will find institutions, I'm sure Yeni will share on social care institutions, but they are at the community level. They are not regulated by law, whereas there are many legally bound institutions which involuntarily commit people in the global north. There are so many, hundreds and thousands of them. So in order to plot the advocacy landscape in the Asia Pacific region, we started these country missions. So before we go, now there is also a process document on the country missions. It's up on our website as a key resource. So when we go, we identify, first of all, we identify a few people who are interested in receiving TCI into the country. So we have done in many countries, in Hong Kong, in South Korea, a number of, Sri Lanka, South Asia, we have done quite a few. We have done in the Philippines, all of that. So Thailand. So we've done a lot of that. It helps in a few ways. Number one, it brings people with psychosocial disabilities together into the same room. So usually we do 2 days of exchange on what is the CRPD, the Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. We engage people on their experiences of mental health systems, on what is their knowledge of human rights, what is the key message of TCI, all of that. Then a very important part of the agenda is to talk to the cross-disability movement at the national level. In some countries, initially the cross-disability leaders come because they don't know of anyone who is a person with a psychosocial disability within their country. So typically you will find, let's say Bangladesh and some other countries, we first met the cross-disability leaders. In some countries, even after so many years, like Cambodia is a good example, we only know cross-disability leaders. We don't know persons with psychosocial disabilities at all. So when we go on a country mission, we actually get to see face to face, what is the movement, what is the background, what is the legal system, what are the policy frameworks which exist in that country? Are people with psychosocial disabilities included within the larger development movement or within the larger cross-disability movement? So we do a lot of exchanges. East Timor was a very good example where we had a very robust country mission kind of work. Malaysia, we've done a lot of that. And then people start to hear, okay, there is another way. We don't have to institutionalize people. There is community alternatives possible. Again, I think TCI is the largest example of a DPO, international DPO, which has given seeds and sowed so many seeds on community support systems for people with psychosocial disabilities. And because of our physical presence, people get to hear us. We are able to take resources. We are able to dialogue with people. We are able to take activities which brings our message across. So the physical presence of TCI is sometimes much more compelling than this kind of virtual messages. And so country mission is actually our first stop. And wherever we've gone on robust country missions, we have met multi-stakeholders. I remember the Nepal one, very, very successful, hugely successful meeting in Nepal with Koshish and Matrika. And the one in Indonesia, it was more of a help desk initiative. It was not a full-blown country mission. We never did a full-blown country mission in Indonesia. Not required because Yeni is a very strong member there. But we have done technical consultancy in Indonesia, again, multi-stakeholder groups. It is said, in our learnings on the CRPD that in order to bring inclusion to persons with psychosocial disabilities, you have to talk to everybody. You have to talk to everybody. So stakeholders are very precious for us. They are our key audience. They could come from the women's movement, the human rights movement, so on and so forth. So that is a little bit about why we do these country missions, and hope to meet some of you. We are dying to come to Africa, like Yeni said. So hope that will happen. And also Bhutan. I have been to Bhutan, but at that time, we didn't know much about the cross-disability movement there. Thank you for reaching out to us. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you so much for sharing about the country missions. And yes, definitely, we would love to visit Bhutan. We would love to visit African countries, and hopefully our new members would invite us to visit the countries very soon when the pandemic is over, and depending upon the travel conditions. So moving ahead, now I'll ask Yeni Rosa. Yeni, can you take the floor and share about the inclusion of persons with psychosocial disabilities in Indonesia, your advocacy work? You are a great leader. You are and have been working for the rights of persons with psychosocial disabilities since very long time. And it would be great to hear from you now. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Akar. Like many of us here, I mean, many of the members, probably new members, we started as a peer group in medical term, like support group, peer groups that work together with psychiatrists, etc., etc. At the time, I felt that we are not the ruler of our life, because everything is decided by the psychiatrist. When there are meetings on, person with mental health, we are just there to be like a decoration, frankly speaking. So we feel that it is very dissatisfying that we are just a second thought, that we do not have any identity of ourselves. And I got very envy when I look at the disability community. And then I met Bhargavi first in Philippines and then in Thailand, and then I learned about totally different field of approaching psychosocial disabilities issues, which is not from the point of view as a patient, but from the point of view of person with disability, the ruler and the actor of our life, and the one that should lead the change in our life. So it is not right to rely upon doctors and psychiatrists to change our life, because our life is not only consisted of medication. Our life consisted of works, housing, education, job, social securities, etc., etc. I mean, medication is only one part of our life, which is so huge and so colorful. So, I mean, when I started in Indonesia, there are nobody that put person with disabilities from that in that perspective, you know, as a disability activist, as a ruler and actors of our life, as an activist. People see, mostly people, including person with disabilities, see us as a patient, and the doctors, the psychiatrists, they know best. That's the condition at the time. And TCI meetings, regular meetings at the time, has become my source of knowledge, my source of strength, and the guideline and the lighthouse to where I should directing my work and my fight. And then after that, I mean, since I met Bhargavi and joined TCI in 2014 or 13, I forget, we progressed so much. Now we are right in the middle as a leader, not only in psychosocial disabilities movement, but in the whole disability movement in Indonesia. We've been leading, I mean, there are many issues that concerning person with psychosocial disabilities, for example, like right to vote, about works, about social securities, about legal capacities, about gender, about many things that that it is way better if we do that in cooperation with other disabilities groups. We will be weak if we only work by ourselves. If we are the one who put the issue, or who fight for one certain issue from our perspective, but when we together with other cross disability movement fighting for the same issue, for example, social protection, for example, housing, for example, the right to vote, for example, and then we becoming way more powerful vis-a-vis the government. Indonesian Mental Health Association, we focus on the advocacy work because we think that with advocacy we can reach wider, you know, beneficiaries for action, because one government program that funded by the government can reach to every corner of Indonesia. For right now we are working in several issues. I mean, the many issues. For example, one of the things that we've been conducting right now is we are a leading organization in forming a policy paper on social protection scheme for all persons with disabilities in Indonesia. This effort involved 46 cross-disability organizations from all over Indonesia, from Sumatra to Papua, that work together to create a policy paper on a social protection scheme that we, as groups of persons with disability in Indonesia, would like to have. We will submit this. We will submit and advocate this policy paper to all the government bodies, including the Indonesian development agencies, including the World Bank, etc., together. So thankfully, during COVID, we can have all of the meetings through online. So all of us, 46 organizations, will come to different Indonesian ministries that related to social protection, including the international agencies together. We also advocate for the right to vote, of course. We even conducted judicial review to one very discriminating law in Indonesia that prevent person with psychosocial disability to be registered as voters. So we applied at the Constitutional Court, working together with one non-disability organization that focus on the rights to vote. We won the case at the time in 2016, and since then, every time there's a election, be it national election or regional election, person with psychosocial disabilities Indonesia always involved. And we also work really hard for the issue of institutionalization of person with psychosocial disabilities in Indonesia. And again, we think that if we work for this issue alone, that's not going to work. That's why we work really hard to introduce this issue to the to the cross disability movement, and we quite success. I mean, now all people from different disabilities, they know that institution of person with psychosocial disability is happening, and that's not right. That it should be stopped immediately. We also work with non-disability organizations because that's also very important. And in doing so, we have to reframe the issue so it will fit to the work of other organizations or people that we would like to involve. For example, last week we just have like a huge webinar with 250 participants working together with national preventive mechanism. This is a coordination between national human rights institution. There is a human rights national commission. There is a commission for women, violence against women. There's a commission on children. There's ombudsman of Republic Indonesia, and there's the body for protection of witnesses. This is a coordination to stop the violence in prison or in detention or detention-like institution. And they agree to adopt the institution of person with psychosocial disability as part of the institution that they have the right to monitor, which means they agree that what is happening in social care institution, it is similar with torture, because this is the coordination that under the Convention Against Torture. So last seminar we have the head of we have the commissioner of National Ombudsman, we have the chairperson of Indonesian Human Rights Institution, we have a member of the parliament, we have people from Amnesty International. We have many people that involved in this meeting that we will follow up with many very strong recommendations. So we work. We also work with the disaster. We are also the leading organization in amending the disaster act in Indonesia, because we are amending the disaster act, and we would like to insert the interest of person with disabilities, and we are the leading force in the amendment of the process. We also work closely with women organization in Indonesia, because we see that women organization is our close allies, and we also work on increasing the gender perspective and feminist perspective into the disability groups, not only psychosocial disabilities, but also cross disability movement. We will work with the biggest women organization in Indonesia, Indonesian Women Coalition, that have that's the biggest organization, to investigate the situations of women with psychosocial disabilities in the institutions. So we managed to get them to come to this, and we are going to have research. This research is not only to find out what is happening, but we will do the research on the need assessment. What is needed so these women can live outside of the institution? What is needed for the government to facilitate in order these women can leave the institution and live inclusively in the society? That's yeah, there are many other things. I mean, this is too short to talk about all of the things that we are doing. We also conducting many, talking about stigma in the media. We succeed in putting in the, we have what's so called the Indonesian broadcasting, Indonesian broadcasting committee in Indonesia that rules what is on the things that shows in TV and radio. And we managed, because there are so many how do you call it, harassment and insult in TV and in radio program, and in the newspapers as well. We managed to advocate to the commission to put really strong articles in their regulation that you cannot make any material with degrading notion on person with psychosocial disabilities and person with disabilities in general, but they put something especially for person with disabilities. And there are many TV stations that already been warned by this commission on some of the material that they put on TV. Now we are working to advocate for the new social media laws, because we succeed in advocating our rights in TV and radio, the stigma, but it is difficult for the social media. So now we are working together with cross disability organization, but we are the leaders to propose the amendment of the broadcasting law to include social media. So we are going to have a meeting with the Minister of Information, hopefully next month, to talk about this. So yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about so many things that we as an organization has been growing from when I first start with Bargavi, starting as a small patient groups to one of the notable organization in Indonesia that are not only working as an organization of person with psychosocial disabilities, but also as an influence member within the disability movement and the leaders within the disability movement. And now we are reaching out to the women movement, to human rights movement, to other civil society organization. And it will not be happen if we stuck in the patient movement. And I forever thankful to Bargavi that when we just started, becoming my guiding light in terms of where should I direct the work of me, myself, and my organization, Indonesian Mental Health Association. So thank you, Bargavi, and thank you, TCI. Hopefully, we can always continue. I also selected as one of the when it started the scholarship. And I use the scholarship, of course, to develop my organization until it is at its place today, which is at the central of disability movement and also central in human rights movement in Indonesia. Thank you very much, Wakar. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Yeni. It is so great to hear about your journey and how you have been engaged with TCI and how TCI has been supporting you across your journey. So yes, thank you so much for all your sharings. And I would also now like to share my journey with TCI, that I visited TCI. I visited Bangkok with TCI, and there was a meeting organized in Bangkok and it was a TCI plenary. I attended that meeting, and then I got to know about the TCI platform, that what is TCI and what they are doing. And from there, I got in touch with the Transforming Communities for Inclusion, and I proposed to become a member from Pakistan, as from Pakistan there was no other member who joined with TCI. So I got a chance from there, and slowly and gradually I used to take mentorship from the TCI leaders, from Yeni, from Bhargavi, that how we should establish a national level network at the national level, and how TCI can support, what opportunities TCI can give to us for establishing a national level network of persons with psychosocial disabilities. I was already working with the Cross Disability Organization in Pakistan, and most of you might know Special Talent Exchange Program. I was working with them in Pakistan as in programs, and I planned then to become a member and core member of TCI as a person with psychosocial disability, and took mentorship from the TCI network. And recently, last year, I got a fellowship opportunity from TCI, through which I was able to establish an organization of persons with psychosocial disabilities here in Pakistan. And for the first time, we were successful in establishing a DPO of persons with psychosocial disabilities, as there is no DPO in Pakistan of persons with psychosocial disability existing previously. So this is how TCI has always supported us. Then organizing different national level consultations. We have been supported by organization. We have been supported by TCI in organizing the national level consultations. I also got the opportunity of micro grants 2020 cycle, and through which we were able to send response to persons to the government, and for the first time we were able to raise voice of persons with psychosocial disabilities at the national level. Like Yeni was mentioning that social protection, why social protection is so important for persons with psychosocial disabilities. And during the COVID times, we have experienced that it was the most important time where persons with psychosocial disabilities required the social protection from the governments. But unfortunately, there was no support from the government, and TCI was the organization that supported us in sending response to the governments, doing relief measures. We in Pakistan, we distributed hygiene and COVID prevention kits to persons with psychosocial disabilities so that they can prevent themselves in getting the COVID infection. And we also did advocacy with the ministries looking after the social protection schemes, and we advocated for the rights of persons with psychosocial disabilities. We shared with the government that during this COVID times, what is the situation of persons with psychosocial disabilities and how they are being missed out, and there is no equal opportunity for them. For example, if we talk about education, people with psychosocial disabilities were unable to access education during the COVID times. If we talk about the employment opportunities, people with psychosocial disabilities were unable to access employment opportunities because they were not trained on the online platforms, and there was very less opportunities provided to them. So these were some of the areas where we have been working in Pakistan, and we also did the GDS consultations for the Global Disability Summit, which is going to be held in Oslo in 2022. And for the first time, persons with psychosocial disabilities were involved in such consultations. We were invited to the special committee, which was a parliamentary committee, and for the first time, PDRN was made part of that special committee as well. So these are some developments which we were able to do that at the national level, because we had the support of TCI as a fellow and as a micro grant opportunity. So these opportunities are important in providing and building the capacity of the national organizations to do advocacy work. So this is some my recent experience I wanted to share. Following Yeni's message, Yeni, you have shared like a lot of things about your journey, and so yes, this is from my side. And Bhargavi, I think we should now move towards the interaction and discussion session, and open the floor for our members to share share any comments about the meeting, share their expectations. If they have any questions, if they have any concerns, you are open to ask. And Bhargavi, the floor is now yours. Can you take on the facilitation from here?
Yes, thank you, Bakar. So we don't have a lot of time, right? We have about 10 minutes.
Yes, we have only nine minutes.
Yeah, all right. It's been a long meeting. And so we would like to take questions or any feedback, any comments, yeah, particularly expectations from TCI. We will definitely share this video once it is uploaded onto our channel. And there are also a number of other videos that, when you have the time, you can also benefit from. Very gratifying to hear from all our old and steadfast members. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Yes, Bob, please do share.
This is Bob from Right for Disability Development Foundation. Can you hear me very well?
Yes.
Good. This organization is a cross-cutting organization based here in Uganda. And our aim is to advocate for the protection and promotion of the rights for persons with disabilities. I am also a person with a psychosocial disability. At the same time, I'm a physical with disability. In Uganda, we have different people with disabilities whom we work with. In our organization, we have psychosocial disabilities, whereby we actually, as RDDF, we make sure that we include them in different events or in the development work in Uganda. So we still having program of advocating for these people in the community, so that we make sure that we sensitize about their needs, and also in the government, so that they understand people with the psychosocial disability, because some of them they don't know that there is a psychosocial disability in our society or in our community. So we make sure that we sensitize the community about this kind of disability. I'll not go very far, but I wanted to share with you our programs or our objectives in RDDF. RDDF, we have the vision and the mission is healthy and productive persons with disabilities whose universal rights and freedom are protected and respected by society. So that's where we really want to emphasize the community, that they should protect these people and respect them. So in our mission is to work with partners, promote research in the area of disability, carry out awareness, policy advocacy, and make strategic interventions in specific areas for long-term inclusion of PWDs. So we don't discriminate as RDDF. We make sure that we work with different disabilities. And our objective is to promote unity and cooperation among us members. And number two, to advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities and to reduce discrimination and stigma. So that is a point which we really emphasize in a community that we don't need discrimination of our fellow people with disabilities or psychosocial persons with disabilities. With psychosocial disabilities. And also we improve the livelihoods of persons with disabilities. We make sure that we see how to train them.
Thank you so much, Bob. We have very limited time, and so we'd also like to take some questions from others. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us. I hope the association with TCI will be useful for you. We have put out we have put out a call for micro grants and also for fellowships. They are up on our website. They also went out on the membership list. So please look us up. And if there is any possibility of partnering with us on those opportunities, please do connect with us.
All right, thank you so much.
Yontan from Bhutan has a question. It's not out of topic, Yontan. Voting rights for persons with psychosocial disabilities is a very old and important topic. There are struggles, particularly in some in old British colonies, which are now independent countries. Right to vote is always compromised. Many of our members, Chinta is here from Sri Lanka, Yeni, many of us here in India, in many of our countries, we do make campaign on this and take it to national level. So this is really an important topic. Political participation, particularly citizenship rights and voting rights. It's really important. So is there any other question or sharing from anyone? We have just 2 minutes, I should say. Yeah, all right. So Waqar, can we kind of move towards closing? I'd like to thank everyone for being here and Waqar for putting together this amazing meeting. Any last words, Waqar?
Bhargavi, no, I was just seeing that if anyone has to say anything, any last words, anyone who wants to share.
Hi.
Sudarshan, do you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you so much, Bhargavi and all the entire team. I'm really impressed. I think if I'm not wrong, we met in 2010 and I learned many from the Bhargavi. After that, I realized disability organization must support to the psychosocial issues, and without supporting cross disability organization, these issues cannot be raised. So I realized myself, and then I fight in my organization, National Federation of the Disabled. We able to change the constitution and others, and we able to ensure the representation of courses, and still courses is representing and then creating vibrant role. And why I'm here, currently I'm working as a local level government policy making level and at the different layer sectors. If I engage this team, and then I can learn many things, and I can influence local level government policy and legislation. That's why I'm here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I will definitely keep in touch and support what I can do in my best knowledge. And I wish TCI for the success, and not only Asia Pacific, global TCI. I want to see the global TCI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sudarshan. And I thank all the speakers for taking out time and attending the meeting today and participating as a speaker. I want to thank all the new members who are still with us. Some of them had to leave the meeting because they had some urgent calls. And thank you so much to all the members who are still with us. And we look forward to get connected with you through our IO groups. And we will definitely share this recording with you along with our other videos. And I have shared the microgrant call in the chat box, and I've also shared the the Bali Declaration text, which is uploaded at our website also. And I will separately share this, the whole stuff with you via the IO group. And I once again, I want to thank all of you, and I look forward to seeing you all, meeting you all very soon physically. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would also add thanks to Amrish, a good friend of our movement, and for being here with sign language interpretation. And yeah, so have a good day, everyone, and hope to be in touch.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Wakar. Thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Yeni. Assalamualaikum.
Yeah, don't forget we have a meeting. Wakar.
Yes, Yeni, I'll organize it. Don't
Okay,
worry.
thank you.
Oh, okay, bye.
All right, bye, everyone.
Okay, Bhargavi ji and Wakar ji, bye bye.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you,
later.
Amrish.
Thank you so much, Amrish. Yeah, look
Thank you,
forward to
Amrish.
more of these.
Bye
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
bye.